welcome back to Dad's Advice. It's been a while, but it's great to be here. I'm Tim, and today we're in quarantine, like many of you out there. And this is my quarantine video. My wife asked me to make this video. Basically, I want to share with you quarantine from a submariner's perspective. I've shared it before. I was in the U.S. Navy for 8 years, 2 months, and 11 days. The longest time I ever spent underwater was 60 days, from the time we submerged until the time we surfaced. 60 days underwater. And that is very similar to being quarantined. Back in my day, we didn't have email, so really we had no connection with the outside world. We would get news in 3-sentence bullets, and it was a time of isolation. So how do we deal with it? There was a lot of different ways that we dealt with it. One, we teased each other a lot. A little disclaimer, all right. I've been out of the Navy for 25 years. Changed a lot since then. Please don't judge these next stories. If you don't want to hear these stories, please don't listen. Go watch something else. But the next few stories were a lot of hazing happened. And I'm not advocating hazing. I'm just saying this is how we dealt with the pressure of being quarantined. You know, I'll probably smile at them because a lot of them happened to me. I'll tell you, one day I was standing engine room forward watch, all by myself down there. It was cold. We were north, and the water was cold, and the submarine's metal, so it got cold, and I was curled up against some steam traps sitting down there. And a fairly nice guy. M was his last name, and everyone called him the Instigator. You can guess where this story's going. He poked his head around the corner and looked at me, and I looked at him, and I just started yelling at him and telling him, "Get out of here!" Well, he said, "I'll be back." And about 20 minutes later, he came back with 5 guys and a couple of rolls of duct tape. Now, there's 2 things you can do when 5 guys come at you with rolls of duct tape. One, you can just say, "All right, guys, you want to tape me up? Go ahead." The other thing you can do is you can fight for your life. And I'm the fight for your life kind of guy. I said, bring it on. And there I was, biting and scrapping. The trick is, if you can get your hands into the rolls of duct tape, then they can't unravel the tape to tape you up. I don't care how many guys it is. So after I was holding on to both rolls of duct tape, fighting these 5 guys, they sent somebody for more duct tape. And so then they came back with 3 more rolls of duct tape, and it was all over from there. I was laying on the floor, all curled up, gnarled up, taped up. And they said, "What are we going to do with him?" They said, "Let's tape him to the ceiling." Now, the ceiling on a submarine is all pipes and stuff, so there's plenty of places you can tape someone to the ceiling. So they said, "Over here is the best spot." So they started carrying me across the floor, and about halfway across the floor, you saw khaki pants coming down the ladder. Now, khaki pants is the chief. So the chief started coming down the ladder. Let me tell you, it was like rats on a sinking ship. Boom! All those guys ran out the other side, up the other ladder, except for one, Randy Rackburn, the ELT. He was called Rackburn because the ELTs, they slept most of the time. And he stayed, and he started slowly cutting me loose. Chief walked by, he looked down on me, and he walked on around. Randy kept cutting me loose, and then he came over with my logs and said, "Sign, So I signed out of my logs that I was now no longer on watch. She came back over, looked at me and said, "Are you on watch?" I said, "No, Chief." He looks at me and says, "Are you supposed to be?" "Yes, Chief. Let's not let this happen again." And he walked away. And Randy untaped me and cut all the tape off, and I signed back in, and that went on my day. You know, it was things like that that we did that were just ridiculous to pass the time and to have fun in an environment where there's really not a lot of fun to have it. Now, in your life, in the quarantine we are not taping each other up, hopefully. We're not doing pig piles on each other. I'll save the pig pile story about sticky buns for another day. But, you know, we're not pig piling each other. We're not taping each other up. We're not hazing each other. But hopefully not. But there's still things that we can do to make our life fun in this quarantine time. So being on a submarine, particularly in a time of war, there's a lot of stress. And similarly, here we are in quarantine, there's a lot of stress. Perhaps many of us have known people who have gotten the COVID-19 or have died from it. And I really, you're in my prayers. My heart goes out to those people. There's a lot of stress involved. On submarine, there's a lot of stress involved too. So as part of my dad's advice, I have 3 things that I think will help us to deal with the stress of this time and being quarantined. Number 1, stay on a schedule. A submarine schedule is really strange. It's 18-hour days, 6 hours on watch, 6 hours off watch, doing maintenance or maybe watch a movie, relax, and then 6 hours sleeping. And then the next 6 hours we start again with 6 hours on watch, and it just keeps rotating. It's 18-hour day. The clocks don't change to 18 hours, but we understand that's how you rotate through. So staying on a schedule. I know it's easy now. We don't have to get up in the morning, or if you're working from home or you're in school from home, you don't have to get up as early. So we can stay up late, or we end up staying up late and then sleeping in. And all of a sudden, your nights become days and your days become nights, and our schedule gets really strange. Staying on a schedule will help you to be less stressed. It'll help you getting good sleep, will help you to be more at peace. So don't stay up quite so late. Go to bed a little earlier. Keep in a normal routine. Don't let it swing all around. That would really help. The second thing is have fun. All right, you gotta have fun. Now, we had fun by teasing and harassing each other. We also had fun when we would pull into a port, or you know, every submarine that goes under the ice carries a chainsaw so they can get people out of the ice. They carry a barbecue grill so they can cook some steaks on the ice, and they carry a football so they can play a game of football on the ice. You know, planning to have fun. Have fun. Whether it's maybe it's playing video games, maybe it's just going out in the yard and kicking a soccer ball around. I know it's hard. We can't go kick around with our friends, but, you know, doing things, learn a new hobby. Many people underway would take a nut, and in a 6-month run would take that nut and a file and make a ring out of it. I've seen several people do that. Make a ring for your finger out of a nut. They're just doing things to pass the time. You know, other things, working out, exercising. One day, Matt, we called him the Yak because he was a giant of a man. He took a long piece of threaded rod, a couple of pieces of pipe, and these weights, these round weights that we use to weight our trash down so it would sink to the bottom of the ocean. And he made dumbbells. So he's back there in the engine room working out on dumbbells that he made all by himself. And, you know, things like that. Be creative. I know my daughter, she loves to do art, and she's doing this different art projects. My son has dramatically improved in his video games, so I probably should cut back a little bit on the video games, but no, he's doing great. He's having fun. I've gotten a number of home projects done while we've been home. So have fun, be creative, come up with things to better yourself as a person. My last thing is be aware of the end. So eventually we're going to come out of this quarantine, and every submariner will tell you the last 2 weeks are the hardest. I don't know what it is. It's like a fever of coming home. We'll be gone for 6 months. Everybody be happy, you know, working smooth together. 2 weeks from home, everybody wants to kill each other. Not literally, but you know, everybody starts getting on each other's nerves. And it's not I mean, if the run was extended to 7 months long, it's still those last 2 weeks. We want to get out. You know, the end is in sight. Be aware of the end. That last bit can really make or break your relationships. So be kind to each other on those last 2 weeks. Be extra kind. Do things to be extra kind. You know, we really have an opportunity here with social media and with our Zoom or Facebook or Instagram or whatever we do, FaceTiming. We have an opportunity to be kind to each other. Speaking kindly, loving and encouraging one another. Let people know you're looking forward to getting together with them again. You know, all your other friends, you know, your other friends have been isolated too, and now we get into a schedule of isolation. Make plans. When you know I'm going to be able to be free, make plans with someone to spend that time with them. It's going to be awkward, again, getting back into society. So that's your dad's advice for today. I love you and I miss you. And I can't wait to be out and see all our friends again and be out in life and enjoying life outside. I know we can enjoy it here now. All right? It's your dad's advice for today. Miss you, and we'll see you soon.